Hi, I'm Eddie of Eddie's Reef Korea. Before I start today's video, I thought I'd touch the topic of COVID-19, the coronavirus. I thought I'd mention to all of my followers and people that don't follow me, but in general, just use common sense, be safe. What they're saying in the news, and as I follow the news a lot, have distances. They are recommending a minimum of 6 feet from other people. Don't have like a lot of congregations, and you should try to avoid crowds more than 10 people. Of course, wash your hands with hand sanitizers, regular soap. Try to avoid touching your face and use a lot of wipes. And that basically using the common sense approach and not traveling a lot, that should really help a lot in this situation that all of us are facing, not only here in the United States, but worldwide. So I thought I'd throw that out there to all of my followers and people that don't follow me, but to all of the community when it comes to the COVID-19, in other words, the coronavirus. So now let's get into the video. Today's weekly video is simply going to be an update. If you follow me, you'll notice that last week I talked about the finger-litter coral and that I might have to move it because these corals do elongate and they grow very rapidly. As a matter of fact, when I got it from Worldwide Corals, it was, I would say, half the size. And this was about, what, 2.5 weeks, and it's grown exponentially. So I did have to do some changes, and I went ahead, I was in the mood of moving corals around. So I did move some other corals and place others where I had mentioned previously. So this video is mainly just to show you what I did with certain corals, a view of the tank, and an update on the dinoflagellates. The cyanobacteria is already gone. It has vanished, of course, with the Brightwell Aquatics Microvector Clean. It is working, but it's a slow process. You have to have a lot of patience because it's a bacteria. It's a bacteria that attacks that bacteria. So they say it could be 4, 6 to 8 weeks. I'm up to 5 weeks, and this Saturday will be 6 weeks. So I'll show you how it's progressing, how it's going along. So let's go into the video and check it out. Hold on. Okay, so here we are on the right part of the tank. And sure enough, what I had mentioned on my previous video, I did have to move it down. I'm talking about the finger leather. So now I have more space between the finger leather and the stylo. Another observation, if you're looking further up from the stylo, you say, hey, wait a minute, that coral wasn't there. Well, that's actually the frog span that I had on the substrate next to the lobophilia. I went ahead and I decided to move it up there, and I actually glued them. I glued, well, just like a little dab, I glued the frog span, and I also glued the finger leather. So let me give you a close-up shot so you can see it better. There you go. Now, what I do have to watch for is the stylo. I have to make sure the stylo and also the spongotus, which is all the way to the top. Just want to make sure, because these frog spans, now that it's higher and it's going to have a little more current and more light, it will expand and grow. So I just have to keep an eye on it, but so far it looks great. I don't foresee any problem in the short run. Okay, now when it comes to the lobo, the other day when I was cleaning the glass, the lobo kept falling and falling. Because if you follow me, you'll notice what I usually say, that I don't glue most of the corals. There might be like, I'd say maybe what, 3 or 4 corals that are actually glued. But the others, I really don't. I try to wedge them. So needless to say, if I see that another coral is touching it, or that specific coral is not doing well because of too much light or not enough, or the current, the water current is too much or not enough, then I can move it around and I have to pry it off. So this is one of them that I really hadn't glued attached to that piece of Pucani rock that I have there, but it kept falling lately. So I went ahead and I took it out, and if you notice on the bottom, like right here, right there, I went ahead, I have by Two Little Fishies the epoxy. So I went ahead and I prepared some, and as you notice there, I went ahead and I put some epoxy to anchor it. So it's actually glued, well, it's epoxy there, around on the sides and on the back, so it's not gonna go anywhere. So that's one of the other things that I thought I mentioned. And now panning towards the middle, I went ahead and I got another frag of the candy cane, that humongous candy cane that I have, and I went ahead and I just went ahead and dropped it there. I glued it to a plug. This side, if you notice, it's getting ready to split. It's actually getting like two little mouths too. So that's how they actually grow. The shall we call it, the polyp actually expands, creates two, shall we call, two little mouths, and then it actually splits. So I went ahead and placed that there. Now moving a little bit further towards the left, the famous little brain coral. This coral, as you must be aware, I had it where the finger leather now is. So I went ahead and I placed it here. I looked at it and kept back and forth looking at it to give it like a special type of an effect. So now there it'll have enough space. If you follow me from my previous video, you'll notice that I was mentioning that this little Favia or Favitis, shall we call it, was actually growing and growing and growing. I also got this from Worldwide Corals, but it was like two little polyps, and it's been growing and growing. And where I have the finger leather now, which is where it was, one of the side polyps was actually touching the rock. So whether I liked it or not, I did have to move it anyway. And back there, as you see, it's my acan. Those keep growing and growing. Now, if we move further to the right, here, you're gonna see the Recordias. The Recordia was one polyp, and if I'm gonna give you a better shot, but it's actually split, and now I have two Recordias. So this is kind of a better shot of the Recordia. I'm going to zoom in. And as you notice, it has split. You see a little mouth on the left and the other one on the right. Okay, now this is a side view. Right now, the finger leather during the day, when I observe it, it takes like different characteristics. Like it'll stretch out, it'll like elongate, looking up, then it moves down like you see it now. But as you notice, you see from the finger leather to the stylo, there's a lot of space there. So when he starts to grow, I wouldn't have any problem. Now what I do have to check, like I was explaining before, is the thing with a frog span. I have to check it and make sure that it doesn't grow out towards the stylo or towards the spongotis up there. But this is how it looks now on the side view. And of course, taking into consideration also that besides the finger leather, all these other corals are going to grow. The frog span, of course, is going to grow, the stylo, and then up there the spongotis. So I have to keep an eye on them. But these two corals, like the finger leather and the frog span, I just put a little bit of glue. I usually use BSI. So I just did like a little dab on the plug on the side. So whatever, with a little minor force, I can go ahead and move him. I do not foresee that I'll have to do that, but I just have to keep a close eye on him. Okay, now when it comes to the dinoflagellates, you notice I'm not talking too much about the cyanobacteria because it is gone. This is what the substrate should actually look. A little algae on the top, but not that amount of bacteria. Now here's what's been happening. All the way now, of course I'm on the right hand side. From the back all the way to the front and all the way to, I would say, here. Let me show you. All the way to here, there's been a substantial improvement. On the back of the acan, as you notice, is much, well, it's practically gone. And if you go on the front towards the Recordias. Now let me give you a different pan. Okay, now from the acans, and shall we say the Recordias, towards the left, that's what you still have the dinos. I will mention that they changed color. Yesterday I noticed from like a brownish, now it's like a greenish algae. So let me pan towards the left. And as you see, the yellow tang is eating the algae. Actually, the bacteria. So you see on these sides, you still have it, but there's like little patches that are starting to open up and to clear. And now, all the way to the left-hand side, if you notice, let me pan a little back, okay, and bring it up close. Okay, that's where most of it is. It's all the way to the back, coming up towards the front, and like I mentioned before, all the way to where the acan is. You see how there it starts to dissipate, and then when you go to the other side, it's practically gone. And this is how the tank looks now. This is a full shot. As when I did my intro. This is how it looks as of today with the changes that I did. The finger leather bringing it down, the little brain coral in front to the side of the gorgonia, and then the frog span that was next to the lobo all the way to the top. Well, and there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the video, found it educational, fun, and if you liked it, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And next to it, there's a little bell. Hit that. That's the notification button. So every time I upload a video, which is weekly, you'll be the first ones to be notified that Reef Korea uploaded a video. And like I say at the end of all of my videos, happy reefing. Thank you very much for watching and have a great, fantastic day and keep safe. Bye-bye.